Welcome to Tech Talk IT, powered by Software Mark.
Hello, I am Oskar Korzonek. I'm a principal software engineer and mobile guildmaster. And in software development teams, usually I act as a software architect or a technical leader. So my role is to take care about software quality. And today we are diving into a topic of code review. So if you wonder how to improve code review process in your team, or maybe you don't have it at all, and you wonder how to start and how to establish a good process, this is a podcast for you. I want to tell you what the code review is, how expectation can vary among developers, and whenever it's taken seriously in different projects. Code review is a crucial part of software development process. It involves checking if the code meets certain standards, and the main goal is to ensure that the code is high of quality. It is important to understand that different developers may approach differently to code review. They may have different perspectives and goals. In my experience, I noticed that developers often approach with a different mindset when it comes to that process. For some of them, it's an opportunity for a personal growth and learning, when for others, they may see it as a not necessary process, which slows down the development. It is important to understand both sides to create a healthy culture of code review in your organization. Some teams prioritize code review and make it very important for the development cycle, when in other projects it's optional or even sometimes entirely skipped. Personally, I think it's not a good thing to skip the code review because it might lead to bugs or quality concerns in the code base. In the past, I participated in some projects when only one dedicated person was doing the code review, usually a team leader or a senior developer. However, I think it's a team responsibility to take care of the code base and how they want to maintain it. There is also a concept of junior developers reviewing code of senior developers, which might seem counterintuitive at first. However, I think there are at least a few reasons which are worth mentioning. So, like I said, code review provides a valuable learning experience, and juniors reviewing the code written by seniors can gain insight about different styles, coding techniques, and best practices. In a healthy team, code review is not a one-way process where seniors review the code of juniors, but it's a place where everyone can learn from each other. It is important to create a culture of mutual respect, and it sends a clear message to everyone in the team that everyone's code is a subject of discussion and there is always a place for improvement. It promotes collaboration, knowledge sharing, and professional growth for all team members. During a code review, it's important to consider multiple aspects to ensure code quality and overall improvement of the code base. It is important to check if the code meets project standards, identifying logical bugs, error handling, and evaluating organization, structure, and modularity of the code. Additionally, it's important to consider security risk or assess risks with third-party libraries. When conducting code review in a team, it's important to establish clear coding guidelines and standards, which are clearly communicated to all members of the team. So, similar to a takeoff checklist for a crew on an aircraft, You can have a code review checklist in your team, and every time you do the code review, you can make sure that you don't miss anything. A checklist should cover important aspects like functionality, code structure, readability, maintainability, and security considerations. And it is also a good practice to regularly review the checklist and refine it with the team based on the expectations and experience. When assigning reviewers for each code review, you should consider rotating reviewers to distribute the knowledge and experience in your team. And it's also important to ensure that a reviewer has a necessary expertise and knowledge to provide evaluable feedback. It is important to know how to provide feedback and suggestions, focusing on both positive sides and areas that needs attention. In the review process, you should foster an environment where developer can openly discuss changes and the code which is under the review, seek for clarification, and engage in healthy discussion. You should promote a culture of respect and professionalism, ensuring that feedback is given and received in a proper way. Based on my experience, I have a lot of not necessary comments, which are not always intended. But for example, for a new team member, a shortcut of a feature in a comment might be not clear. And you should consider that the code is someone's work and they did their best to put the value into the project. So encourage a grow mindset in your team to see it as an opportunity for learning and improvement. When addressing identified issue, categorize them based on the severity. Discuss with your team which issue should be solved first and which of them you can address later. The code review process, it's not only a reviewer responsibility. As an author, you can also make it easier and quicker for the reviewer. For example, by making a pull request small in size, smaller PRs are quicker to review, allowing reviewers to focus on a specific area, and it enables faster iterations and minimize the likelihood of merge conflict, and also make the merge process much smoother. The reviewer can understand the code better by focusing on a specific feature or a change. Breaking down your PRs encourage modular and reusable code, and it promotes best practices. When creating a PR description, it is important to provide sufficient information and the context of your change so reviewers can better understand what you want to achieve. As an author, you should begin with a clear title that summarizes your changes and objective of the PR. You should provide a brief overview and summary of these changes and explain the problem or the feature being addressed in the PR. Include relevant links or documentation, design specification, or maybe even links to related PRs. And it is also important to outline the testing strategy, and it will make the PR easier to test. I usually work for mobile platforms, so I find it useful to attach screenshots or GIFs to demonstrate your changes visually, so a reviewer doesn't need to run the code on his machine. Code review can be a time-consuming process, and that's where code review tools comes into play. These tools are software application or services that provide different techniques to analyze the code and provide feedback on potential issues. These tools can reduce the manual effort and improve the code quality and reduce the turnaround times for code review. For example, you can easily set up a linting tool to ensure that the whole team uses the same code style and conventions. It is helpful to set up pipelines when you create a PR. So as a reviewer, first you must check if all quality gates passed. Static Code Analyze tool can give you an overview and help to better understand the changes in the PR. It provides metrics like response for a class, which help in understanding the complexity of a class. A higher value means that a class has more responsibilities and might be more difficult to change and maintain in the future. Another example of a metric is a weight method per class. And by tracking this metric, developer and team can gain insight about the size of complexity of their classes, identify potential hotspot or areas to refactor. It is important to have a balance between class size and complexity. There are much more metrics like lack of cohesion of methods or cyclomatic complexity, which might help you to understand an impact in a PR better. However, it's not a golden bullet, and there are a few challenges. And one of these challenges is a potential for a false positive or false negative. It is important for developers to use their judgment and review these tools' findings critically. We'll discuss how code review plays a crucial role in software development. By having a fresh pair of eyes reviewing code, you can spot potential issues on early stage and improve the code base quality. We explored a diverse expectation from a different point of view of different people and how important it is to set up a healthy and effective code review culture in your organization. We emphasize taking code review seriously. It's not just a checkbox to be ticked off, but it's a vital part of the development cycle that foster knowledge sharing and collaboration in a team. Furthermore, we discuss code review automation tools. That tools can assist you in understanding changes and enhance the code review process by making it faster. Hope you know now how to establish clear guidelines, create code review checklists, and define roles in the process and responsibilities to help ensure consistent and friendly code base.
Learn from our experts how to feel it, live it, be it. And make sure to follow us on social media @Life@SoftwareMind.